you're over 100 days.
Welcome. You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced and get happy with Dr. Marissa. And this show is about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have shows and topics.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days.
Monday, Tuesday,
Happy days.
Wednesday, Thursday,
Happy days.
Friday, whatever.
Happy days.
What a day.
I love you.
I love you too.
Best known as the mom from Happy Days, and she is a delightful 89-year young Marion Ross to my studio. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Dr. Marissa, this is such a treat for me.
Oh.
My goodness, you're a wonderment.
Which is exactly the kind of guest that I like. Those who have gone through life, good and bad, and then taken those experiences to alchemize them into the person they are now and doing good on the planet. I'd like you to welcome Corey Feldman.
If you're grateful for it and you say right away, thank you, God. Oh, my God, it's so beautiful. I'm so blessed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Then guess what? More good things will come to you.
Does this sound familiar at all? She's back again to mark my Cancer Awareness and Prevention Month show. Please welcome Fran Drescher. Hi, Fran.
On and supporting cancer schmance. I really appreciate it.
So what would you say are some of the biggest myths, Fran, that people have about cancer?
Well, I would say that they think that there's a cure for it.
Okay.
Instead of a cause for it.
This is the first call-in show when I get to be Dr. Marissa, the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura. And people call in to get their life tires balanced and their critical thinking or their BS, their belief systems, smog checked. And today I am delighted to have Malie calling in from Birmingham, Alabama.
We could go 90 days and end up having terrible sex. And then you say, well, the relationship's not all about sex. Well, if I'm not getting great sex from you, then I'm going to get it from somebody else. Right?
That moose just got put on the table. And I see Josh and Jim.
I have to agree
You're
with Clyde.
both nodding. Ramon's sort of half nodding because his wife's listening. But
I understood what was going to happen if Muhammad Ali's youngest daughter, made public that I was going to become a boxer. So I wanted to make sure this was the path that I wanted to go down.
You are absolutely fabulous, beautiful inside and out. And I'm giving you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award today.
Thank you.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic point.
When I go, I'm gone.
Are you lonely?
No.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be.
But
the answer.
I surround myself with people. I mean, I'm always the one cooking for things. Or I'm always the one that decorates first and come to my house. All the orphans that have no place.
I'm going to have no place to go. So
Okay,
I can
okay,
over.
come on over.
And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Oh, we're going to turn that off. Let's try that again. This is the after effects of the Thanksgiving feast. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports radio station KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, JioSaavn, Podchaser, Rumble, Tiki Live, and more. And this is a show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, no K words, no Kardashian talk at all, no Kanye talk. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests to that end and special series. And you might be wondering, hey, I thought it's Friday. Friday's not Sam's Thursday, Cynthia's Friday, but Cynthia is taking a little hiatus. So I forced Sam to cut his holiday weekend short and come into the studio and do straight talk, since yesterday we were all eating or cooking. So I'm so happy to welcome back to my studio my fun co-host on Thursdays. Now on Friday today, Sam Works. Welcome to the show. He's my fun buddy. You're my straight talk with Dr. Marissa and
Sam Works.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm happy and grateful. I hope your turkey was tender and your potatoes were sweet. Yesterday, did you have a good Thanksgiving?
That was amazing.
Oh, yay. So we'll hear about it in the gratitude sandwich so that we're, fitting stuff in here. You all know we like to start every show or most shows with taking a bite of our gratitude sandwich. You're going to have breakfast with Sam and I. So the first thing we do is 8 specific gratitudes, top of the button. And I'll let you start, Sam. What are you grateful for?
First thing I'm grateful for is my family. Family loves each other unconditionally, and it's really amazing to, be a part of something that is just it's just nothing but love. So.
Oh, so obviously you had nothing but love yesterday, which is awesome. I am grateful the same for that feeling of family getting together, and especially if people aren't living in the same town and they travel. And I had an amazing time with my bonus family yesterday. My bonus sister Annie hosted, and there's a little video of the fun we had. My daughters came down from San Francisco. My oldest daughter's boyfriend was with us, so that was fun. And my furry nephews and my bonus mom and dad. And I think that's like 4 gratitudes right there. But my bonus dad's turning 93 on Monday. So he carved the ham with an assist from my oldest daughter. And was just like one of those moments where you're like, Memorex. I know you don't know what that is, but there used to be a product commercial that would say, we keep your memories, Memorex. Is it real or is it Memorex? And I take mental videos of beautiful things that happen in my life. And yesterday was definitely one of them. So who do you want to specifically be grateful for that was in your family? So you give them a little shout out love.
Specifically, I would say the man of the house that, talked about Thanksgiving and the one that gave out thanks. Because we usually don't go around the table and like say what we're grateful for. It's just one person, they pray about the food and all this stuff. And, I'm grateful to hear how much love he has for the family. Also, family friend, Chef Dylan, he spent 3 days prepping food and all that stuff. It was just, so,
Wow. Uh-oh, I'm losing your sound. I lost the last part of your sentence. Can you hear me?
I said shout out to him.
Oh, good. Good. It's clicking a little out, so I don't know what that is. But great. Let's go to appreciations, which is the bottom of the bun. What do you appreciate about yourself?
Oh, man, I appreciate that I try so hard in my life. Like, it's ridiculous.
Great. Yes, you're very trying. Just kidding. I appreciate that I have stamina. I gained 2 pounds with yesterday's feast, but it was so worth it. And so I went down to the gym and nobody was there. And then to the pool, nobody was there. That's normal, but because I'm going to keep on going.
Good for you, Dr. Marissa.
Thank you.
I appreciate that, I'm willing to speak my mind and speak my emotions. I'm not afraid of that.
I appreciate that I bake my own cake. I am anchored. I know who I am. I know that I'm 88% fabulous and then 12% not so great. But I'm anchored in that, and I appreciate the imperfect perfectness that I am.
I appreciate that I'm not so stubborn. And, I try to take as much advice as I can. And hopefully learn from everybody, even though sometimes I don't want to.
I appreciate that I am also open to learning. I don't think I know it all. And I don't know if you saw my interview with my big brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith, who's this giant global thought leader. I'm so fortunate to have him with a special relationship. And I will thank him all the time for changing, basically changing my life into one where I could be happy, naturally high. And he will say, you have to thank yourself, because if your teacup was turned down, I couldn't pour. But because you chose to open and turn that teacup up to be poured into, that's your doing. So give yourself credit. I love that analogy.
I do too.
Isn't that a great analogy? That's to piggyback off yours, open to learn.
Yeah.
All right. Last one?
Last one. I appreciate that, I care for people even when I shouldn't.
Okay. All right. That's a cryptic. Maybe we'll get to that in specifics and maybe not. And my last appreciation is for my good-heartedness. I love to find things to delight in and open to new things. And I love that about myself. All right. That is it with breakfast. Thank you for joining us. Breakfast with Dr. Marissa and
Sam Works
with our gratitude sandwich. And I see some eyeballs rolling in. If you're grateful for anything, please do feel free to put it in the chat. If you're driving right now to your Black Friday shopping thing, you can tune on AM 1050 FM 106.5. Or if you are just home enjoying this beautiful morning in Southern California or wherever you are, then you can go to my YouTube channel and free subscribe. If you're on Instagram, you can go to the link in the bio. I think I put it in Facebook too, or on Facebook or on LinkedIn to stream and chat with us, because today's topic is actually mine. Usually I let Sam pick the topic, and I was in a particular moment of getting my undies wrapped up. And I said, let's talk about the battle of the sexes, because there are certain things that men do, not all men, but many men, that do drive women, not all women, but many women, crazy, like leaving toilet seats up, or clothes on the ground, or not being respectful enough to text back an answer to a question in a timely way. And then, to be fair and balance that out, many women do things that drive men crazy. Not all men, not all women, but I hear about it, like put their makeup on while they're driving, or have too many things going on and are a little scattered and they can't get things done, or they pick on, nag a lot with, why don't you do this and why don't you do that, and never, it's never enough. I was told when I was dating before I was married that I had an attitude. I'll never forget this. He told me in the garage, he had just done something for me or bought me something that I had wanted, and I had said something, and he goes, your theme song is "What Have You Done For Me Lately?" And that was like, ooh, but I have heard that that we're demanding, not all women, but it does drive not all men, but a lot of men crazy. So those are some of the stereotypes, and stereotypes have some truth. I have found that it's a group difference, and we don't like talking about stereotypes, but in order to have better relationships and be happy in your relationships 88% of the time, it is important to communicate, as Sam always says. So I'm putting the moose on the table, talking about the elephant in the room, about those things that seem to naturally tick off each other. And that's today's topic. So Sam, what you think about all that?
I would say replace the word men with male. Okay, because I feel like men have a hierarchy of responsibility and like caretaking of themselves and their spouse. Males, on the other hand, they're sloppy. I'm not I'm not gonna lie, and like, including me. I'm in that category. There's some things that I need to pick up myself and work on. And I don't want to nag too much on the women, so I kind of want to just play my part and talk about the male side. But something that I'm really grateful for is I have a friend that I've been hanging out with all the time, and she always says, hey, like when you come inside the house, like wash your hands, or close the bathroom door, or do this and do that. And it's like, I mean, yeah, it gets in my head sometimes. I'm like, ugh, I gotta do this. It's like, as soon as I walk in, I just want to relax. But I'm super grateful because it teaches me how to become a better person, and it teaches me how to keep clean and stuff like that. So, funny story, like the other week, we went out, we got some drinks, and I had a little too much to drink, and took care of me, and then we went back to her place, and I just wanted to sleep in my clothes, and she was like, hey, take off your clothes, I don't want you sleeping on your like in my bed with your clothes on. And I hated to hear that, because I was just like so drunk I didn't want to move. But then it's like, I appreciate that, because like I don't want to be sloppy. Like, who wants to be sloppy in their lives? Some people do, I guess, but I don't find it acceptable. And she took care of me, and I really enjoy that and I appreciate that. So she's listening. Thank you. But
Good job.
like, males and females, they're opposite in some things, and I think it's very helpful for women to be around men, because they do, even though they nag at you, they do it for a reason, right? Like, it's just very helpful when it comes to that.
So you're seeing the positive part of nagging. Is that what you're telling me? No, but you're weird. I mean, honestly, I've said this before. Not all men will admit to the upside of nagging, but it is so kudos to you, and I'm sure she knows how fortunate she is to have a male that isn't the stereotype, but you're honest for what you are, like, you're maybe in the initial reaction you're not necessarily happy about the fact that you got nagged at, and at the same time, it's that balance. Like, how does a woman explain what she wants and desires in a way that doesn't sound like nagging? And so, where's that line of saying, this is what I want, which is also something not, now it's a little different, but I know in the generations in the past, it was more important to satisfy a man in the traditional roles than it was to speak up and say, this is what I would like. So that's a shift. But I think we went and the pendulum went all the way to the other end, maybe a little too much. So we went from not speaking up to overly demanding, and that may have led to the nagging reputation, or the nagging kind of reputation, but the nagging stereotype, that's what I was trying to say, that we seem to have taken on. So if you're a woman and you're listening and you don't like to nag, my coaching, when I do this with relationships, because a man will often come and say, all I hear is everything that's wrong, everything that I've done wrong. She'll bring up things from 10 years ago. And so the exercise that I send the wife or woman or significant other partner on the whoever is more naggy, I will say, every second thing that comes out of your mouth, you just don't say unless it's a gratitude. You replace you count. You literally, you can say, can you pick up your clothes? That's one. And then, can you put the toilet seat down? Which is two. You're to replace that with, thank you so much for taking the trash in yesterday. And you just deal with you can put the toilet seat down. You're still asking for what you want, but it isn't a stream. You cut your stream of nagging before it becomes a stream. And I'm going to do a little commercial for those of you who didn't see my post yesterday. Was the first day of the 21-day fast from complaining. So if you want to have a very different kind of holiday this year, I'm calling it my PPP Post-Pandemic Possibilities Holiday Round of the 21-day fast from complaining. So this is really important because I've been doing this since 2011. So I heard Edwene Gaines on stage, and she said, if you want to reach spiritual transcendence, don't complain for 21 consecutive days. And I'm like, oh, I like competitions. I like trying challenges. So I tried it. And it took me literally, I was doing it every month. Started the first day of the month, July 1st, 2011. We got up to like thousands of people that were doing this, and I was doing it every single month, and then it just got too much. So I stopped, and I do it on special occasions. So normally I do it January 1st, But this year I thought, you know what? We're going to do it over the holidays. And you, instead of doing 21 consecutive days, it's a little easier from yesterday until Christmas Day. If you can put together 21 days that you did not complain for that day, then you win. So what do you win? I double your money. So it's $21 registration, goes to my nonprofit, 8 Ways to Happiness from wherever you are. And then on Christmas Day, if you tell me that you did 21 days without complaining, I make a phone call to someone who lives with you to corroborate that that is what happened. And then I double your money. You get $42 back. So that is the challenge. We'll see if your mom wants to do it, or you want to do it, or your friend wants to do it, and see if you can do that in a row. Somebody said yesterday on Facebook that they would have an easier time landing on the moon than being able to do that. But honestly, I've had proof that it's possible. I did it once. Eva Glenn Atkinson in Kentucky, she's done it once. Daia Jordan in Long Beach, she's done it once. Janina Aravata, she did it once from Japan. And then Uwe Freyer is my only guy that's done it once. So if you want to try it, go to drmarissa.life, register. It's not too late. You have 10 days where you actually can, 4 weeks. You have 1 week where you can drop the ball. So you want to try it?
I do.
You do? Good. Good. So I'll see your registration today. If you go to drmarissa.life, there's a direct link there to not complain. And I look forward to that. Yesterday, I complained. So I messed up yesterday, which is okay. That was day one. But what's interesting is once you mess up, count how many times you complain so you know what your baseline is. And just try to improve on your baseline, if nothing else.
Yeah, I've been complaining recently, and I usually don't. So I need to get back on track.
So this is a good one. Because why is it important not to complain? What do you think?
Well, I definitely think that you can program your mind. If you keep complaining about something or someone, then that entity will start to grow as a greater evil in your head, right? So like if let's say you have a family member and like you just keep telling yourself and out loud like, ugh, I don't like this person for XYZ. I don't like this person. I don't like this person. Eventually you will no longer like the person at all, and same thing with your work. Like you may have enjoyed work at one point in time, but then like you start to get over it and you're like, oh, I don't like working there. Oh, I don't like my job anymore. Da 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 da. And then you really start to like grudge over it, So I think complaining really builds a dark cloud over whatever entity you're thinking about. And it's not really good because then you start to look away from the good side of things of that and just focus on the negative. And it can really destroy that or you or the relationship in between.
Absolutely. Right on the money. It's a habit. If you have a complaining habit, so let's link it to what we were just talking about with men and women in the battle of the sexes. It is if you keep complaining and notice all the ways in which your insignificant other or significant other is failing, so doesn't put the toilet seat back up, doesn't pick up after himself, doesn't, text back, and you just know that that person has those issues, you then fall into a psychological phenomena called Pygmalion effect. And we've talked about this on the show before, but I also did this in a company client. We talked about toxic people in the workplace. And the biggest learning for a lot of people was that if you have labeled someone as toxic, that means you cannot see anything else but what they do that validates your label of toxicity. So if you've labeled your partner as disrespectful because they don't put the toilet seat down, they don't text back, they don't pick up after themselves, and you're defining respect that way, then you're only going to see those instances where they are violating your respect. You can't even see, because you're programmed now, and it's a habit, you've got blinders on. So even if they bring you flowers or they do something like open the door for you, it doesn't even blip on your radar because you're so fixated. The power of the focus of your mind will prohibit you from seeing evidence to the contrary. And that's only happens if you're human. But it happens all the time. So that is the other reason, is you're not being fair to that person if you're only focused on what's wrong. Then the other thing, the reason why I don't want you to do this is because of the law of attraction. The more you focus on anything, the bigger it grows. So that's another aspect of why. Why do you want to be pissed off most of the time? Complaining leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Yes. Right? Every time you stand in line, almost everyone's complaining about something, and it's such a Debbie Downer. And it will also, Dr. Deepak Chopra says that complaining, worrying, fear makes your cell immune system attacked. So your cells will not, they're all chaotic. They will not work in harmony. There are 3 emotions that will make your cells and immune system function harmoniously. Guess what it is?
Love, happiness, and satisfaction.
Close. Peace, love, and here's the interesting one, creativity. So in my coaching, when you're not feeling well, I ask you to get color crayons or take up knitting or take up painting, photography, something that allows you to play and create and innovate, because that will help your health of mind, body, and spirit.
You know what? I believe that to the fullest. Because there's something about, being creative and being in that flow state. You're not stressed, and stress gives you high blood pressure. Stress, makes you think negatively. And I think that's a good one. And I think a lot of people, they focus either on happiness or on anger when, they should just let their mind be released and, be creative.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. If you've just tuned in and you're wondering if you've got the wrong day, you do not. It is not Thursday, it's Friday. But because of the wonderful holiday, we couldn't do our straight talk with Dr. Marissa and Sam Work. So we're doing it today. We're talking about the battle of the sexes and what happens when the opposite sex drives you to the moon. And we are continuing our talk on relationships. I also, let's see, do we want to take a quick break? Let's take a quick break and come back. And we're going to talk more about that and about a dream that happened to one of our listeners who was tuning in last week. And that will give me a chance to also promote my fabulous staff dream expert who's coming on the second Wednesday of this month. So we'll be right back. Don't go away. This is Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show with the Asian Oprah and
Sam Works
on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. world was exploring the world. What if the question, what do you want to be when you grow up, little girl, turns into how many streets of life you want to explore? What if the purpose of life is not to die with the most toys to leave our squabbling relatives? What if the purpose of life was to do things that we enjoy most of the time, have relationships that we enjoy most of the time, and use our unique talents, gifts, and abilities to fully express in the dash between birth and death? What if, as a direct result of this horrible pandemic, we could rise out of the ashes with a new PPP, post-pandemic possibilities? The sooner you turn "it's impossible" to "I'm possible," the what ifs become possible too. Because you are loving, lovable, and loved, wrapped in a warm blanket of worthiness. But it may start with getting out of bed and making it. What if starts with
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC's News Radio, KCAA, home to the Asian Oprah, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and my YouTube channel, where you will find all 827 of my shows. We have 451 consecutive weeks on the air, 9.5 years. And I'm so glad that you're here. You've joined us on Black Friday. I don't even like that name. But anyways, I am so glad that I convinced my co-host, Sam Works, to come and do Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and
Sam Works
here on this wonderful, beautiful Friday in Southern California. I hope you are staying warm wherever you are. I understand there's a storm coming on the East Coast, making it a little wet, but just do this if you don't have anybody nearby. I think self-hugs have become very popular since the pandemic. But I am here with Sam. We're talking about the battle of the sexes, thing that other people of the opposite sex, especially if you're in a relationship, do to drive you crazy. And I think we've sort of dissected that one. I did want to catch up on a couple of things because we put the moose on the table about our own singledom / dating / fun things that are happening in our lives. So I know I have a few things to share. But I'm gonna let you go first, so I get a little courage to actually say the things I'm gonna say. So, there's a part of me that's like, I don't know if we want to go here, but I do. I think because you've been very open about sharing your escapades, and I haven't had any until recently. So, you told me that someone was listening last week and they had a dream. So, dream a little dream. What was the dream?
That you and I were, we had a thing like under the radar.
So for those of you who are like, what are they talking? So obviously, if this is your first time on the show, you don't know that Sam and I have this history of just having fun. And he is still my sound engineer, but we've been playing on the air now for what, for 4 months? I want to say that 4 or 5 months. We only just met in person like a month and a half ago. So we've been flirting because both of us love to flirt, and so maybe that's what happened. So she actually had a dream that we hooked up, is basically what you're saying.
Well, it's like because she listened to our past episodes and stuff, and it's like, you and I, we throw a little fun here and there, and that probably just like, just like her mind, like subconsciously, like just we're putting like things together in its own way. Yeah, and I just thought it was super funny.
That is super funny. I'm going to ask Julie Lore, who comes on the second Wednesday of the month. And here's a little commercial. If you want a free value of $200 dream interpretation for free on the show, just message me and we'll get you lined up. But I'm going to ask her what that meant. So there's 3 kinds of dreams: feedback dreams, attaboy dreams, and life lesson dreams. So I'm going to guess that it was a feedback dream and see what Julie says. I mean, are we responsible with the flirting that we do to cause dreams? I don't know.
It's not our fault.
It's never our fault, right? We just play. But I did have my first unofficial date last week. After 5 years, 4 months, 3 weeks, 2 hours, and an hour and a second, but who's counting? And I didn't plan on it being a date, and it may not even really been a date, but there was a kiss the first time in that long, where I was not expecting it, not anticipating it, because I thought we were going as friends, and we are friends, and we did go as friends. But what was interesting is probably 3 or 4 years ago, he had expressed interest in me and said that he was attracted to me, and I was shocked because I never felt that. Right? He kept it really cool. I would see him regularly because he's a part of a couple of communities that I'm in. And I had been teasing him about being attracted to new people in that community. And he said, there's only one person I've ever been attracted to. And he said it was me. And I was like, wow. But then he didn't come at me. Like, he didn't follow that up. So I just like, whatever. And then just left it unspoken for the last 3 years. So when we ended up going out, I took your advice, which is open communication, and because you're kind of weird that way, and I always credit you with promoting communication and really speaking what it is, so that the moose is on the table. I, as direct as I am, and as out there as I am publicly in my professional life, I got to tell you, personal life is a whole new ball game. And I have a habit of going to MSU University, which is making shiitake up. So if something happens in a relationship for me, or if someone doesn't text back, or if someone, doesn't do something, I make up a story, and I'm very final about it. So if you don't do something that I'm expecting you to do, then it's, to me, not a match, and bye-bye. And I don't want to know, but I'll make it up why that happened. And unfortunately, because of my past, growing up, being told I was fat, ugly, and clumsy, choosing a man who would introduce me as obese behind my back, I have very low regard for my attractiveness. I have body dysmorphia. I think I'm heavier than I am. I don't think I'm attractive. I don't think that that when people say they're attracted to me, I don't necessarily agree or believe them. Okay. Like I do and I don't. So that's putting the moose on the table of my side of the street that I'm really working on. That's why I've lost 30 pounds minus 2 that I put on yesterday, because I want to really work on this. This is the last hurrah, or the where the rubber meets the road on, how I have to improve. I choose to improve the way I look at myself and my own attractive factor, or my own attractive dimension. So I took the courage, because it was cold. And so he put his arm around me, and I put my head on his shoulder, and I said, so, I don't know if you remember this, but like 3 years ago, you said that, you were attracted to me, and I was surprised. And then you didn't come at me. And so what changed? What happened? And he said, and I was afraid, it's going to say, well, it was in my head, my story was, well, he got to know me and then he wasn't so attracted to me. And he said, yeah, nothing's changed. And I went, okay, he's still attracted to me. And I said, well, what happened? And he goes, I'm glad you're having fun listening to this story, Sam. He's like, all of a sudden he's all attentive. So then he said, I did a lot of thinking. There was a lot going on. And I'm like, with me? And he goes, no, nothing to do with you. And so he said, I was honest with myself about the desire to be a father and have a family. So he's never been married. He has no children. He's a little bit younger than me, but I'm ageless. So, I'm not going to say how much younger, which, is my baby factory shut down. And that is, I have 2 beautiful girls, and that's just the reality. And he knows that. And so that was why. And it was one of those, I disappointed? Of course, a little, because he's a very good kisser. But I've been in this situation before, one time. And after I was happily divorced, I dated a guy who was getting his MBA at Long Beach State, and he was from Turkey. And when we met at the farmer's market, just our eyes crossed, and it was a very quick and deep relationship. But I remember on our first date, when it wasn't so deep, it was just a dinner. I had asked him, do you want to have kids? And he's like, absolutely. I look forward to having a family. And I didn't say anything at the time, but I knew at that point my baby factory was shut down. But I thought it was just a dinner, and we're, who knows what's going to happen. Well, come the next 3 or 4 dates, we were just like in over our heads, complete attraction, that really tender feeling for each other. And so he actually proposed after about 6 months. And it was heartbreaking, because I said, I cannot take away from you your desire to have a family. I honor that, and I really want that for you. And he's like, no, princess, I don't need that. I want you. I love you. And it was like so heart-wrenching. The 2 of us were like that movie, in the end of the movie, and I'm driving away and I'm watching him, tears are rolling down his eyes. Josh Groban is playing in my car. You're getting teary. And he's like, fading in my rearview mirror. That was how it ended. And then he went back to Turkey, and it was heart-wrenching. But because of that, I didn't take it personally, and I said, I want that for you so much. And I appreciate you telling me that, because it is so, I know now, it's not going to happen with us, but I'm so thrilled that it's going to happen with you, with somebody. And it was a beautiful moment. And he said, how unselfish of you. That's, he was touched. And so that's how it was, a very quick beginning and end. So that's the story. Yeah. So, but the thing that was really great that came out of it was, one, I did something I don't normally do, which is ask questions in a personal relationship to find out what the fork was going on. And two, I did, I have, I fool myself and say, you know what, I'm just too ageless for that stuff. I've already had two beautiful kids. There's, I love myself. My best relationship is with myself. I really don't need that in my life. And it's overrated. And I don't take my own advice, where I almost always tell people, get in a romantic relationship, because there's no feeling like it, and the butterflies, and it's wonderful, and you can't get that feeling from your friends or your family or your coworkers, well, unless you have an office romance, but all of those. But I did try, and I have to say, I was curious whether I would feel anything down there when I was kissing, because it's been a long time and I haven't felt that attractiveness to anyone, really. The men who have expressed interest, I don't feel that. So it's been, is it dead down there? And I'm happy to announce it's not dead down there. So I'm really glad that I learned that. I can't believe I just said that. So yeah, that will not be clipped out to be put out on social media. But I have to say, it was really nice.
Well, good for you, Dr. Marissa. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. So the doors aren't fully open yet. I have a really bad joke. Should I tell it on Black Friday? No.
Oh, no.
Sam's like, Mark may be listening to this, or Fred,
Yeah.
or Linda. Yeah, bosses. But yeah, it's remind me to tell you it later. It's pretty funny.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah. So your reaction, besides being proud of me, have you ever had that happen where you met someone who really didn't want to have children, or vice versa? You want to have children, right?
Yes, of course.
Good, because I think you'd make a great dad.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I at one point I was dating someone who was, like 10 plus years older than I was. And we talked about that, and I was pretty into her, to the point where I was like, yeah, I don't care about having kids anymore. Like, I can adopt.
Oh, wow. You had the opposite. Ooh.
Yeah, I was in this position. But then, like, after a while, like, my conscience was really telling me, like, that's not really what you want. Like, you do want your own little Sam running around, and, like, if she can't provide that, then, whatever. So, like, that was one of the reasons why I broke it off with her. And it's just tough, because, like, sometimes you get blinded by love, and the things that you were so focused on gets thrown out the window, and talk about, battle of the sexes. Like, they really divert your direction, your eyes on something else, like, girls, like, that's my weakness.
What?
Like, women,
Oh, okay.
they can really change my course of my life. And it takes a while for me to like really reflect on myself. Like, hey, is this like, what about your dreams? You know, because it's no longer about me; it's about us. You know, and that's just one of the things that I have a problem with. I'm willing to sacrifice the life that I always want for a life with someone else. You know, and yeah.
But you can have both. You
Mhm.
can have both. Sure, there's a little bit of, listen to me. I need to be preaching to my choir. But it is true. I mean, balance is always the answer, because if you go from just focused on you and nothing else, that's not really healthy. But if you go to the other extreme and you have no a part of your dreams and you have only theirs, that doesn't work either. So the key is to find someone, not find, be open to allow someone to be a partner. And again, I'll bring a couple of my favorite teachers when it comes to relationship and romance is law of attraction. Abraham Hicks will say, let's just get together and see how it goes, and how, can we travel on this a joyride called life and have, fun and fulfillment. And when we don't and we start doing this, then hey, no harm, no foul. It is a great chapter in my book of romance. And then I will quote Don Miguel Ruiz, who, if you haven't read the book, The Four Agreements, that's my classic foundation, one of my foundation advice for people who want to look at how they're happy or not happy, besides my own book, 8 Ways to Happiness, but also his book, Mastery of Love, where he talks about, if you want a cat, don't buy a dog. If you want a dog, don't buy a cat. So when you're picking in the first place, you, Sam, would look for someone who maybe is in a similar position as you and working towards their dream, and something that you could support and they could support you as well in your dreams, so that you both are not obsessed with being with each other all the time, sitting in front of the TV and not getting anything done, because then you're both going to be miserable and mad at each other for taking the place of things that that need to get done. Right?
Yeah. And
yeah,
communicating would definitely help in that sense.
What was that?
I said communicating would definitely help in that sense too.
Yeah.
Speaking of battle of the sexes, one thing that really bugs me about women is how perfect they try to be, and some of them, they take hours to get ready. Some of them, they feel, self-conscious about their body, even though like they have an amazing body. And like, it's just like that takes away from like being present with your spouse. And that's something that always gets to me. I'm like, you're already beautiful. Like, stop doing what you're trying to do, because it's not working. Like, you're making me frustrated.
And that is true. And a great final word from Sam. So if you're a woman listening and you spend hours getting ready, you're taking away from time with someone who appreciates you just the way you are. And I am definitely one of those that needs to work on that. I need to be able to see myself the way Sam sees me or my friend sees me. That's my goal. And that is my final word here on a great episode post Thanksgiving of Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, and the series Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and
Sam Works.
I'm so glad you joined us. I hope you have the best remainder of the holiday weekend. Please do register for the 21-day fast from complaining on drmarissa.life. Remember, it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. Thanks again, Sam. Have the best day ever. We'll see you on Monday.